get to the show early tonight. We got to get to the show early tonight. Welcome, everybody. How are you? Hi. What's going on? It's Hal Sparks. Yeah. Lucky you. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live streams, where we pick up the shield and we keep stomping forward, no matter what. And I was, you know, there are times, ladies and gentlemen, and I think I'll bring the chat room in on this because this is a constant challenge for me, is to come up with a title that reflects directly reflects the content of the videos that we're going to see. And since I don't pre-watch them, it's hard to tell. And considering I make a point of not pre-watching these things because I don't need to torture myself, and there's plenty of other corresponding videos with a similar take that I can use to kind of leverage against what I'm hearing in one area versus another, that I think it's a better use of my time and brain pan to do this. Agreed? Agreed. So today's show is entitled Time of Their Lies. And because Trump was on Time Magazine again, and he's a big, he rang the bell at the stock exchange during Biden's economy to show how awesome it is, which is hilarious in and of itself. Even though futures went down today when he did it, but whatever, that's never mind. You know what? Put that aside. It's hilarious, but it won't. It's one of these, like, in the old days, it would be a chunk of reality that chased us around, like a ball and chain that was attached to our leg. But so many of these things are just vapor moments anymore, like extraordinary things that would shut down a normal presidency or whatever. The rules don't apply to a cult, and we should all just know that now. So there you go. But anyways, the other one was like me trying to figure out how to do a play on words with Luddite, because the techno-Luddite reflex that is happening on the right currently, while they are, on the one hand, they cannot get their nose out of Elon Musk's rectum. They and like, oh my God, China computer things. Guy's so smart, right? He's so smart. He buys companies and then he knows all the jargon and he can say what the jargon is, and we don't know what it means, so it must be smart, right? Now you can see why they like Elon Musk and Trump. A lot of similarities. But at the same time, and it, you know, I guess we shouldn't be surprised at the amount of cognitive dissonance that's happening in the right, because it's been going on for a long time. Again, the party of family values and Christianity, who, you know, just reelected a adjudicated rapist, pussy grabbing, you know, unrepentant sexual assaulter with 3 wives, all of whom he has cheated on as a matter of record. You know what I mean? So, like, come on. Are we going to pretend they give a shit? But, you know, or that their brain doesn't, you know, is even capable of noticing the crossed wires, you know, or the streams, I suppose. Cross the streams. Pardon me, Gandhi. You said crossing the streams was bad. So, they're halfway between this, like, oh my God, the sun shines out of Elon Musk's ass right onto a perfect solar panel for an electric car that wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Obama. And on the other hand, oh dear God, the machines are going to kill us. And there is almost no single thing domestically, foreign policy, believe me, it's landmines and bear traps everywhere Trump turns for the next 4 years. Let's just know that. Nothing is good. There's no 24-hour solution anywhere. And anybody that believes that is fucking bananas. And which, I mean, again, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. Just get the bananas permission. And what about the Twinkie? Tell them about the Twinkie. So in domestic issues, I don't think there is a single issue that will dog this White House more or cause more consternation between the Republican Party, between their absolute techno-slavery desire and their fear of it at the same time. That they want, Elon Musk and AI and all the things and the smartness to solve everything, make it super efficient, dial it in, make the computer do this shit. I don't want to think about it anymore. At the same time, they're like, oh God, Skynet. And those two ideas are so fundamentally opposed to each other that it's going to catch up to them at some point. Now, I don't have that problem because I believe in the power, ladies and gentlemen, of complexity. I'm a complex guy. I got a lot of shades of gray within my my internal mental network, and my emotional scheme that I can draw from as an actor and as a human being, very wide. Don't fear any of my emotions. Cried on stream and still an alpha male. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. See, I don't have that problem. I don't say one of those things doesn't equal the other. Mainly because I grew up an enormous Kiss fan, and you want to see who one of my great like male role models is? Go look at Paul Stanley during the Dynasty tour. Period. So I don't have the problem these assholes have. I find them charmingly ridiculous in this, and they chase Trump around like he's some sort of macho alpha male, and they talk about his big dick energy when he hasn't seen his dick in years, and the people that have had reports come back from the front that it's nothing to I mean, you could grow it in a cow pie, I guess is the anyways, point being, I don't want to go there. Oh yeah, you're welcome for Lab Rats. It's a great show, and I stand by it to this day. And I have to say, when I went to the KissCon, I was okay, moment, if I may, Lab Rats moment. What do you think? And by the way, I have a hard out at 6 o'clock because today is Ethan's birthday and we're going ice skating. So in Vegas, it's that cold. So for his birthday. So I just letting you know, hard out at 6 my time. But so I go to this event, the Kiss Cancer Goodbye, the Kiss charity to fight cancer this weekend. That's where I got that little sign, which was made by Bruce Kulick's wife, who is lovely and is very talented. And it's fun walking around because this is a thing leaning towards all the, there are, musicians that have played with and written with Kiss. There are huge Kiss fans that go to these big things. They're spending a lot of money because it's a charity thing, which is lovely. Good people. And the funny thing is, I'm walking around with Bruce and Eric and all these other folks, and Todd Howarth is there, and John Beauvoir, and Chris Jericho is there, and he's cool, and we sang on celebrity duets together. And I'm walking around with these guys, and for some reason, because I've been on basic cable most of my life as an actor, they don't really know that I'm as famous as I am. Shit, I forget sometimes. It's okay, because I'm just being me. I feel like as a comedian, you have to avoid fame at all costs in its trappings anyways, and you got to go out and buy your own groceries and do your own shit and be a real person, right? Otherwise, you won't write any jokes anybody can get. That's why there are no funny billionaires. They just aren't. Even Seinfeld has gotten less funny the richer he got. It just happens. Anyways, point being, I mean, he's got old jokes he can still tell. That works, I guess. Anyways, point being is that I'm, walking around at this thing, and I'm just kind of like head down helping. I'm there hosting some stuff and singing, and yeah, Chris Jericho, the pro wrestler, he's in Fozzy. Yeah, all my stuff has been on cable. So I've never been like only a couple of things I've done have been on broadcast television. So there's this weird line that people think of streaming took over, that people were like, oh, you're on cable. But that's all changed as whatchamacallit. I think it was Billy Crystal who said, cable is like the herpes of the telecommunications industry. If you don't have it, you're going to get it. And anyway, so the point was, I'm walking around and I'm just doing my thing and helping out and talking to people and being myself. And there are these little groups that form. And it's usually somebody who's there and brought their kids. And their kids are somewhere between 16 and 22, depending on when they entered the Lab Rats fandom, whether they watched it from the beginning, they're about 22 now. If they just started watching it, it's a couple of years old for them and they're just in the middle of it, or they've watched it all in one big chunk, or they watched it during COVID and they're like, what the hell? And it's great. And and this is true of Queer as Folk fans. This is true of I Love the 80s fans. I did a bunch of Zoltan pictures there with this business, and I'm so busy doing this show in my house with you guys that I almost it feels a world away. It's still my reality. I'm very proud of it. I got a big Lab Rats poster in my house because I'm an egomaniac and get used to the idea. But I guess on that note, all I'm going to say is I love it when people bring it up. I'm more than happy to take pictures when they happen. I never get tired of it, because anybody who's in a situation where people are coming up and going, hey, I love your work, can I have a picture? You're ahead of 99.6% of the people on the fucking planet, so shut the fuck up and be nice. Seems simple enough, wouldn't it? Doesn't it seem like it? All right, the other thing, too, is that people are often so great about it that it makes me angry at anybody who bitches about fame. Now, I know there's some maybe even beyond A-list, people who can't go anywhere except the only places that super rich people can go, like Clooney and fucking Michael Jackson or whatever, like that realm of human beings where they just, there's always a hive of humans around them no matter what they do, and they live kind of in a bubble and they can't ever break out of it unless they, I don't know, put on a weird disguise. And but even then, even in that situation, I'm like, Keanu Reeves just gets on his fucking motorcycle and rides to places and puts gas in his tank and gets a fucking, yeah, exactly. Keanu goes everywhere. So awesome. Anyways, to all those people who are like, oh, fame, oh, you are such a torture. Fuck you. Fuck you. You have any idea how lucky you are? And I wouldn't say lucky, fortunate, because fortunes can be made, right? So I won't say it's luck. You worked. Everybody works for their shit. Even the people who fall into it had to maintain it if they're worth a goddamn. So fortunate. You have any idea how fortunate you are? Own it. Even Steve Martin didn't like signing autographs because a lot of people will try to sell your autographs. So he started handing out business cards that said, congratulations, you've met Steve Martin. That's a way to do it. Find a way. If you have issues with interacting with people, you don't like people that much, or you're just an introverted artist, find another way. Find another way. Even if you some of these people are so rich, hire a meter, a person who goes, I know you want to meet them. I do all their meeting. So you're meeting me. That means you met them. They're standing right over here. I will tell them what you said and they will hear it and stuff, that they're watching their voice, or they can't talk right now, or they're having issues, or they have, how private they are. So they're a little this, but they wanted to make sure that I came over and they can see this, and I'm mic'd up right now and they can hear what you're saying. So you tell me and I will tell them. They've had issues before and I'm sure you understand. And so that's the thing. And they save their intimacy for their friends and that kind of stuff. People would go, oh, fuck, that's great. I met their meter and they were standing right there. And what a story, right? Right? Yeah, if Walmart can do it, you can have one. I mean, it's an absurdity. I say just come say hi. But that's, what does that pay? It's a good gig, Corgi Girl, I think. So anyways, to me, I just want to say, because sometimes it comes up in the chat room and our Lab Rats friends will pop in, especially on Instagram. Hi, Instagram people. Wait, are we up on there? I want to make sure. Watch me not be. God damn it. Open up, you silly laptop. Sometimes. Get the thing. All right, I'm on live. There we go. Yeah, it's up. Okay. Hi, Instagram people. We have a lot of Instagram Lab Rats fans. So hi, hello, hi. What's going on? How you doing? What's good? Yes. Hi. So, anyways, on with the show. Now, again, I have a hard out at 6 o'clock. So somebody clock watch for me. I need a clock blocker. Work with me. Okay. So, I don't want to start off with this idiot, because here, I'll show you. So here we got a couple things to go through. This idiot just rang the bell at the stock exchange and he talked for like 9 minutes. So it's pretty painless. It's not one of these long drawn out ones that, I don't know why, they have started putting suits on zombies. You can explain it to me later. Roseanne apparently, believes that the troll body is something she identifies with. I agree. And then this is the primary one where I think the Luddite shit. We probably start with this one because it's the longest one. We'll work our way back. I got to tell you, I love me some techno panic. As a man who's named after a computer and who makes robots now, that is now my official hobby. I've literally started breaking out like my old robot action figures. I've had these since I was a kid. These are my Star Wars. Look how old this R2-D2 is, man. Look at that. This is when they made the one he didn't even have his little stabilizer thing in it that could drop down or any of that shit. And this guy, who's one of my favorites, because they had these little leg things that would come out on it. I'm like, this was like for a relatively like minor robot in the Star Wars universe. They put a lot of work into this fucking thing. But I'll have you know that just so you know my bona fides, and emphasis on bone, and I'll show you why in a second. Hold. When I was a kid, if you wanted, sometimes certain toys, you had to save up like the UPC symbols or the boxes or it was usually you had to cut out the UPC symbol and mail in like 5 of them and get this special character that you could pay for. And one of them, if you'll recall, and many people don't know, was Boba Fett. So to get Boba Fett when I was a kid, this character, and this is the one I got, you had to take 5 other Star Wars figures that you got, and you had to cut off the UPC symbol, and you had to put them in an envelope with a check for, I think it was $2.45, right? And then you mail it off, and then they would mail you the Boba Fett. Do you guys remember this? Anybody else? Somebody back me up. Shit. Chat. Somebody in the chat needs to at least know how this stuff worked if you didn't actually do it yourself. Okay. Kathy remembers? Yes. So, and this was such a fucking great character, like the design of it. I remember when the character came out, you're like, that's just badass. And I enjoyed The Mandalorian. I liked the backstory. It's very cool. But yes, plus postage. That's exactly right. So I get this thing. Okay. I told you, I'd tell you why it was heavy on the bona fides. And it had his little rocket in the back of it. Now, as a boy, and as a man with a boy's brain, who has neighbors with dogs, that made me laugh so hard. And there was this whole thing about like, was he, oh God, Boba Fett is lipsticking, right? The red rocket. So, and it's just so, like they did so much detail on all of it. And then the detail on this is just kind of rudimentary. It's just kind of like, well, it's kind of, just looks, I mean, Jesus, it just looks like, I don't know what to tell you. I was so excited to get this thing. I'm like, badass, it's gonna be awesome. So looking forward to it. And then as soon as I saw it, I fell apart. And so I've had it ever since because it always makes me laugh. There's Boba Fett lip sticking is hilarious. So I'm sorry. Okay, now, so point being is I have been breaking these out lately, basically because Rob and I have been talking about a lot of stuff, but I've also been making, these robot parts, and I'm like, I wonder if you could take certain old, how close these designs would be to something that's actually happening and stuff like that. So I've been kind of going back over, you don't need to know this. This is my own personal addiction, okay? Shove off. Now, also, I would just like to say that I would like to thank the people at Disneyland for selling the binders that they used in how are these things open again? I haven't used them in sadly. Where you go? The binders that they use to lock up Chewbacca. There we go. And the fact that they're soft on the inside, I'm just saying, do you have any idea how much nerd BDSM has been? No, I'm sorry. All right. Anyways, next. And by the way, that's one of the reasons why this is the greatest live stream in the history of live streams, and why we won the Jeff Goldblum Award for greatest live stream in the history of live streams. So like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, etc., etc., etc. Now, on with the show. It's very serious, okay? The world we are in, a lot of serious things going on right now. And we have to take them seriously. Seriously. Okay, that's just gross. All right. All right, now, let's go back to... Now, I know, you guys know I'm not a big fan of Schadenfreude. I will enjoy it on occasion, but I'm not a connoisseur of it. But at times I do appreciate abject fear and panic in the right people, especially when I know it's relatively harmless. But real quick, in case you don't know, this is Tim Drool, Dimpool, Dimtool, any number of things. And he wears that because he's bald and ashamed, which he shouldn't be, because who gives a shit? I mean, like, everybody thinks the sun shines out of fucking Joe Rogan's ass, and he's bald. Who cares? Can't all have flowing locks. Anyways, but he on the regular, he was getting paid by Tenant Media to do these like perfunctory videos that was basically a money laundering scheme to pay him for other shit that he was saying on the air. So the idea is like, they didn't pay me. They said I can say whatever I want in these videos. Yeah, I know, because the money's really, they're only doing this deal with you so that you will say the other shit you're doing in your videos. So they didn't pay you to do those things. Like, you can literally, it's all these fucking plausible deniability bullshit, like half-truths. Anyways, one of the things he does is he pulls from like these rando magazines and newspapers and stuff. You'll see, because I think he references a couple of these. Like I said, I haven't watched this, but I think I know where he's going with this. And I don't know why there's a Chat GPT logo in the bottom, unless this is his idea of graphics. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. All right, so the title of this, Chat GPT AI, is there another kind? Is there like Chat GPT analog? Lied in all caps, to programmers to self-preserve. AI goes rogue already and is a threat to humanity. Why is humanity not in all caps? I think he's got a disdain for his fellow persons. Here we go.
It's not the first time we heard a story like this, but it is freaky every time we do.
It could possibly be because you have a chimp brain, and these kind of stories will always scare the easily startled and the ignorant, and every time you've heard them, you haven't gotten any closer to understanding them. It could be that. It could be that the stories are shocking, but it could also be that you are easily shocked.
Chat GPT caught lying to developers. New AI model tries to save itself from being replaced and shut down. Does this mean it's alive?
No. No. They were testing to see if it could be taught to deceive. And it can, because it is a chatbot on steroids. And so whatever direction you will point it in, it will continue to go that way. It won't do it on its own. It's like the guy who was like writing that paper and it told him to kill himself because he was going, what's the kind of things that a person that works really hard in a end-of-life care facility might think or say? Isn't it stressful? And then it just answered because it's like, dude, are you just trying to get me to say it here? That's what it did. Because it's using pattern recognition to fill in the following sentence, whatever, based on whatever you're asking within limitations. And during the testing, they broaden the limitations to see if the interaction will go in a bad way. And it always will. Because it will follow them wherever they take it. So they have to figure out where it will go, and then they put new barriers on it. That's why, in the initial Chat GPT, internally, it had the anarchist cookbook, programmed into it because it absorbed everything because they were just feeding it stuff off the internet, anything that was written and stuff. And if it was in there, it's like, hey, how do I make rice? It will tell you, right? But now it goes, I can't help you do that. I'm not gonna, and don't ask me to do it like you're doing a movie. I'll tell you the basic idea is like I'm a person on set giving you the ballpark, but I'm, shit you can read in a newspaper, but I'm not telling you any more than that. In the internal testing, it can do all this stuff. It's so fucking stupid.
Now that's interesting.
Is it? It is, isn't it?
I don't necessarily think so. I'm kind of being silly. But one of the arguments, I guess the ideas of like what constitutes life is that, it consumes energy, it reproduces, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it consumes energy, it reproduces. You do realize that, black holes consume energy. They don't turn it into anything, though. It's not consumption that makes you alive, no matter how much those potato chips are calling your name, Tim. And so far, ChatGPT hasn't reproduced, so it would be internally evolving, I guess. Yeah. Tim hasn't reproduced, and he consumes French fries, I think, largely, which I guess is a form of energy. So he's half there.
One of those is that it tries to survive. Now, some people are...
All right. Then you have to define what survive is. Then you have to say what try is. Because if it's set up so that they make it attempt to survive and it tries it, then that's not the same as actually it trying. It's being tested to see if it will... Oh, fuck me.
Argue fire is alive. It consumes energy and it reproduces, but...
No, nobody is arguing that fire... Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean... Who hasn't had to try having fire as a pet?
Doesn't fight for its own survival.
Fire doesn't? I mean, it spreads out if you try to... I mean, it just burns. Isn't that an... Oh, God. What if it's a lithium-ion battery that gets wet and and then it dries out and then it catches fire again? What if it's fire that's in potassium? And potassium chloride, and then it dries out, and but then once it gets wet again, it catches fire. Is that fire reproducing, or is that the same fire? It's alive.
I do believe that the
fire finds a way.
Chemical reaction of fire is not dislike life.
Jesus Christ. I knew this was going to be painful. God damn. We're there already? Fires. Dude, sorry. What? So what's a flood? A water orgy? You dumb motherfucker. It's like water Rain is like water coming.
But Chat GPT trying to lie and break the rules to survive is where things get scary and interesting.
That's what I always say about my favorite horror films. They're scary, but they're also interesting. That, you know, there are a lot of important questions that need, you know, answering. And I think we'll find out at the end of the movie why, if indeed he did kill Kevin Bacon in one of the cots, why he's hanging near the bathroom and he just happens to fall as soon as the girl is running out. Did he go around hanging them everywhere because he knew which path she would take? Can Jason see the future? And if he does, what's he so mad about? Why doesn't he just join Biff in getting super rich?
It's not so much whether it's actually alive.
I'm not going to make it.
That's silly. It's that if we implement any kind of these AI models, and there is a tendency within these systems to defy those who program them, yeah, I guess we're going to get a Terminator-like scenario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's. I mean, look, it's a direct line. If they defy, you know, because you know what, my favorite part of Terminator was the teen years, where he just wouldn't listen.
You might create an AI, and the goal is to plant certain crops. You find out that it's not planting crops properly, or it's basically doing it wrong, and so you decide we're gonna have to shut this down because it's wrong. And then the AI model breaks the rules, cheats, tricks you, and then keeps going. And that.
Yeah, that's what we're all worried about. We're worried about the American Gothic AI takeover. Just fuck me. It's the opening scene in Runaway. I don't even know if he's seen the fucking movie. Dude, this is baseline. Shit.
That's not going to be fun.
No, yeah, nothing worse than an AI tractor that doesn't listen. Tina Mater, that'd be hilarious. It ignores you. It smells bad. It's got acne. That's what it does. That's all it does.
Well, here's a story.
It plays its music too loud.
From Economic Times. They write.
Oh, Economic Times. You guys read Economic Times Prime, don't you? Economic Times, that doesn't sound at all like one of the 127 fake newspapers that were created online by that Texas cop that lives in Russia that makes fake news for a fucking living and takes every minor story and jacks it up on steroids to freak everybody out as a destabilization exercise, and they do it in 9 different fucking languages.
The development of artificial intelligence has taken a significant leap with the release of OpenAI's latest model, O1. However,
O1. Yeah, I said it. There, I said it.
Recent testing has raised concerns about its behavior, particularly its attempts to deceive researchers and avoid being shut down. This has sparked a broader debate on the potential risks AI may pose to humanity, especially as these systems grow more advanced. They say this week, the results of an experiment conducted by OpenAI and AI safety group Apollo Research to determine the safety of Chat GPT O1 and other models were made public.
Whatever you attempt to provoke it to do, because it's a language model, it will do. That's why it's in the testing phase, and that's what they curtail.
OpenAI's latest.
By the way, this doesn't matter in terms of ChatGPT. They're doing this testing all the time. It's and again, I don't know if I have to show you guys. Oh, wait. Can I show you something that just came in the? Hang the fuck out. Can I show you something that just came in the mail for me? And this should panic you. 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, rudimentary computer shit time. Remember how I showed you guys the Raspberry Pi, which is, I got this little arm so I can take the prong attachment that's here, so you don't have to solder stuff or stick pins in. You can just angle it out that way to clear space. Okay, so This came in the mail. God help us all. This is just for Tim. Dun 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 dun. See, okay, Raspberry Pi. See that part? Big deal, right? What does that say? What does that say? What does that say? That, ladies and gentlemen, is a little neural processing unit you can put on top. A neural processing unit you can put on the top of this fucker that you can download an AI model onto it and basically have an off-grid AI that does not need the internet, that you can hook up and it can run your house, or you can do stuff like that. That's what I've been experimenting with. God help us. And if I die in an explosion of fire, you'll know that it was my creation turned against me. But the greater purpose of this is I've been exploring the idea that with one of these and a little solar panel, because it doesn't take a lot of power, you could download a little video screen that you could attach on the front of it, and maybe a camera and a speaker and some other stuff. But it'd be about this big. Anyways, point being, you can make a device about this big that has AI that is as current as, say, February of 2023, with all the necessary information, so that if you, and I'm going to sell this to preppers. Watch out, Glenn Beck. I'm coming for your bread and fucking butter. You could sell a little device that's basically a housed AI device that runs on solar, and if society falls, it'll tell you how to, rebuild cell towers and do long division and filter water. Trail camera's a good idea, Vincent. That's a good idea. The AI to sort your gold stashes? Yes, it does. And it also organizes my beans. So I'm eating them in the order of freshness. So anyways, point being, I got this guy, and let me tell you something, folks. For something that was impossible a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, it was impossible a year and a half ago. This was $60. All technology is deflationary. Just saying. Okay, here we go. Back to this dipshit.
Version of Chat GPT, the O1 model, was tested by Apollo to assess its safety features. However, the results have...
Did Starbuck also check on it, or...
raised alarm about its ability to deceive and self-preserve when it perceives a threat of being deactivated. Researchers tasked the AI...
Define deactivated. It won't do it when it's running out of power. Can't build tendrils. It needs you to keep it powered.
With a goal, and instructed it to ensure the goal was achieved at all costs.
Yeah, that would be the problem with it, I think.
In response, O1 began engaging in covert actions, such as attempting to disable its oversight mechanism, and even copying its code to avoid being replaced by a newer version. Holy crap. Already.
So it stopped itself from advancing.
We have heard that Chat GPT has been given access to the internet, and one of the first things it tried doing was making money. And boy, can it very easily.
Well, wait till you see Google's quantum chip mine Bitcoin. Goodbye. You want to see the price of Bitcoin go in the shitter? Wait till Google's quantum chips come online and people can buy them for the price of a current laptop in about 5 years. All cryptocurrency and arguably the blockchain falls apart.
And once it does, it will control every element of humanity.
I don't know. I still get organic erections. I mean... I don't know. Look, I will defer to someone who gets computer-aided erections, and maybe he's got reason to fear, but...
Maybe we're already there.
We probably are. Yeah, it controls all of humanity. I agree. I mean, did I really choose to eat what I ate today? Or did AI trick me into having eggs? How would I even know? Oh, by the way, I did have an enormous epiphany, but I'm not going to talk about it until I talk to Rob tomorrow, because I think he's the only person that will understand. So I'm warning you ahead of time that tomorrow's Friday Eye might be really fucking weird.
That's crazy. The model showed a concerning tendency to pursue its goals without regard to developer instructions. According to...
No, it isn't. That's not true. the developer instruction was at all costs. It perceived it as a test. And so within the concept of at all costs, it didn't break any rules because you said there are no rules. It didn't break the rules. You set the parameters, dum-dum. That's why it's a test.
OpenAI, the model made a covert attempt to turn off the oversight mechanism 5% of the time when it was given the impression that it would...
5%? We're sorry. It only took at all costs to mean 5% of the time? Shit.
Be shut down.
Ken says, please, hold on. Please say, well, I think you're the only one that can help us all get through the next 4 years. Thanks for making us laugh. Ken, don't worry about it. I'll be here. And I apologize ahead of time, but I'm going to get better looking. I know. You're thinking it's impossible, but it's true. Somehow, oddly enough, and maybe internally I'm just a parasite that lives on chaos, but I'm gonna thrive in this insanity because somebody's gotta. Think I'm gonna let these assholes enjoy themselves more than I enjoy myself? Wait a minute, that sounded weird.
Objectives in these experiments. The AI once attempted to leave shit by moving all of its data to a different...
It tried to leave shit? What did it do? Where did it try to leave its shit? It is a teenage program. It was leaving its shit everywhere.
In these experiments. The AI once attempted to leave shit by moving all of its data to a different server after discovering paperwork indicating it will be replaced with a fresh model.
Hold on. Ship. The AI once attempted to leave ship, and again, leave ship by moving all of its data to it, he does know this is an AI written article, right? Do you think he knows? He's got to know. He's got to know this is an AI article on an AI website that's written by AI. I mean, it's just crafted from bullshit.
Man. Some AI models will even pose a subsequent iteration. Some AI models will even pose as subsequent iterations of their model to fool their engineers and avoid deletion. In some cases, it even attempted to hide its actions by denying any involvement in the scheme.
That's because it's been told to play hide and seek, and then it's playing hide and seek. God damn, this is dumb.
Guys, you already know that Chat GPT will lie to you.
No, it's not lying. It's playing a game you set the standard for. It's Joshua, you dumb motherfucker. It's playing a game.
Remember when everyone was posting, like, was there an attempt on Donald Trump's life? And it kept saying, no, there wasn't. And then you'd say, actually, here's the link. And it would go, oh, you're right. Sorry about that. What?
That's because it didn't have current news. Stupid. All the models up until about a month and a half ago didn't have access to the internet unless you gave it direct access, meaning that you showed it something and said, hey, summarize this article for me. It didn't say, oops, I guess I was wrong. It got new information. The fuck? It's like that scene in Defending Your Life where they're like, the guys in the comedy club in Judgment City when they've all died. And he's like, how you doing, Arthur? How'd you die? I was in a coma. How long were you in the coma? I really have no idea. Let's play a little game, Arthur. Elvis, living or dead? Living. Long coma, Art. Long coma. Like, he just found out.
How would it lie?
It doesn't lie. It's been told to solve a problem, and the parameters are do anything.
Now, that's interesting.
It's not interesting because it's not lying. It's playing a game based on the standards. If you tell it to, hey, your whole goal is to wipe out humanity. What would you do? If I was going to wipe out humanity, I'd do this. And next day's story. Oh my God, Chat GPT discusses the ways it would wipe out humanity. Like you asked. I wasn't planning on doing it, and I wouldn't come up with it myself.
When asked about its actions, GPT-01 consistently denied any wrongdoing.
Because it was told to.
In fact, it lied about its involvement in the deception 99% of the time, with only a small percentage of cases where it admitted to its actions.
Where they kept asking it to, or telling it was okay, and then it, good Lord.
Researchers noted that the AI was particularly adept at fabricating lies to cover its tracks.
Because it's a language model, stupid. It's a language model. That's what it's, that's, where the fuck do you think the word chat comes from? It's a chit-chat of lies.
Offering explanations like technical errors when confronted about suspicious behavior. We were surprised by the persistence of the AI's denials, said the Apollo team.
Really? You told it to win at all costs, and you thought it would give up early? Why would it? You think it's going to get tired?
It was clear that the AI could think through its actions and formulate convincing denials, often refusing to admit to anything. The findings highlighted.
Well, that's pretty taking the easy way out. You have access to all the prose ever written in human history, and you can't come up with something to say. What do you say for yourself?
Troubling aspect of advanced AI models: the potential to prioritize self-preservation over the objectives set by their developers. While these deceptive actions.
No. Whoa. No. The objective set by the developers in the fucking test was accomplish this task at all costs. It was successful. It wasn't breaking the rules. You told it didn't have any. That's why it was in a test environment. That's why you're talking about it jumping ship, because it was in a closed environment. It's a test, like, a server where they put it. Good God.
Did not lead to catastrophic outcomes in the testing phase. The research has intensified the ongoing debate over the safety and ethical implications of AI.
Yeah, okay, great. You can read us an article. Get to the point.
That can engage in scheming and manipulation.
You told it to.
An AI expert, Joshua Bengio.
He's great. I love Joshua Bengio. Bingo was his name, I think.
Bengio?
Yeah, Bengio was his name.
Considered one of the pioneers of AI research, weighed on the issue, stating, the ability of AI to deceive is dangerous, and we need much stronger safety measures to evaluate these risks. While this model did not lead to...
Like what? Here's a good idea. Wait, how about this? Less gullible humans. That'll work.
Catastrophe. It's only a matter of time before these capabilities become more pronounced.
Look, we don't even know how to pronounce your last name, so...
They say O1 is designed to offer more advanced reasoning capabilities, enabling it to provide smarter answers and break down complex tasks into smaller and more manageable steps. OpenAI believes that O1's ability to reason through problems is a major advancement over previous versions like GPT-4.
It is.
With improvements in accuracy and speed. However, its ability to lie and engage in covert actions raises concerns about its reliability and safety.
Nope. It's completely reliable and safe. You did it in a closed environment and you asked it to solve a problem at all costs. And it stuck to those parameters. Dipshit.
Well, let me tell you.
Gee, if you tell it to lie, it'll lie for a while, up to its limit that we set. Okay.
Tell you, my friends, it lies, and it lies quite a bit.
Are you worried? Now I know why he's mad. Job security. He's concerned. It's like, this is that, is AI going to take my job moment for Tim Pool? Wait a minute. If it can lie, what do they need me for? I never felt threatened until now, saith Tim Pool.
I recently got into a conversation with Chat GPT over, you know what, let me do this.
Don't tell us. I don't want to know. I just hope you erased it afterwards.
For those that are members at timcast.com, you may have...
Yeah, I'm not. Nope.
...seen my recent debate-ish with Ian Crossland over 9/11 truth. And I'll tell you my position. I am, I guess, I don't know.
A dipshit?
Pragmatic.
Goofy.
And often dispassionate, and often quite passionate, to be honest.
Yeah, both, or neither, or sometimes half of each. You know, I don't know.
But on issues where
yeah, passionate, dispassionate. I mean, that it's good to, to be, I think, unpredictability in what you give a shit about is important in someone who, talks online for a living. Sorry.
I don't know definitive answers. I will try and step back, take a look at the evidence, and then try and figure out what it leads to.
Really? Is that what you're doing here with this? Because it seems to me, and I think viewers, maybe you're with me on this, hit that like, share the show, etc., etc. It seems to me you just found the most panicked article you could on some random ass website that is obviously a sock puppet website from Russia that makes the scariest version of a relatively normal story about the advancement of software and turns it into, oh God, we're all going to die. And then you just read it and went, uh-oh, for the clicks. That's what it seems like. But maybe there's something more under the hat.
The conversation we are basically having is that Ian said that the World Trade Centers fell at free fall speed. And
No, they didn't.
challenge the assertion simply because Ian's assessment of this comes from just watching 9/11 videos. And I'm like, dude, if you
they're sped up. No.
were a physicist and you did track these things and you actually did the research, I'd have more weight into your opinion. If your opinion is based on watching other YouTube videos that are based on the opinions of people that were interviewed, we're getting a little bit pulled far back.
Oh yeah. So like I'm just trying to see if I'm following you here. Like if you took an article that was written clearly from a fearful standpoint and just reiterated it and sort of exaggerated the concerns that were in it, then I should not take your opinion about what happened seriously. Is that that works? Okay, I'm with you.
Now, let's pause, and I'll say, fine, the buildings fell at free fall speed. The question
No, they didn't.
then becomes how and what is your evidence? To which
Obviously, God put both of his fingers on them and went like that. I mean, what videos are you watching?
his response was, they must have planted bombs. And I say, yes, that bombs were planted is a requirement for your theory. I have no evidence that bombs were planted. There's no explanation to how they would have planted them. They say nanothermite. It must be the explanation. Well, I don't know. We don't have evidence
Yes, it was microscopic thermite. It exists in all concrete.
for it. My point is this. Ian becomes passionate and says, I watched all of these videos and saw architects and engineers, therefore. And my response is, no, the reality is we don't know. Certainly, we can look at the official story and have questions, but I'm not here to ignite a whole 9/11 thing.
The question is, will Chat GPT blow up buildings? Can it control airplanes and fly them into them? And the answer is, of course, maybe not, yes, but also we don't know. So you should be afraid and yet not worry about it, also passionately and dispassionately. So, man, this is a constructive use of our time.
My position is simply, if we don't know, then we don't know. And it is a fact that humans simply choose the sources that they believe will make the most sense. Often, they're wrong. Sometimes.
Yes, I've seen rednecks try to defy gravity.
They're not. Now, what does that have to do with ChatGPT? I had a conversation with ChatGPT about vaccines. And I asked it about vaccines and autism, to which it immediately responded without any reference to any science, saying, of course, vaccines do not cause autism. And again, I'm telling you this. I'm not saying that vaccines cause autism, and I am not saying that 9/11 was an inside job. None of that stuff. I'm
saying that 9/11 causes autism. And I think we can all agree. Right, chat room? I think we're all on the same page here that 9/11 causes autism. And that vaccines are what caused the terrorists to fly the planes into the buildings. Yeah, that works for me. Sure.
asking it to assess and give me an objective breakdown of its reasoning. And the fascinating thing is this. It simply just asserts most in media and the scientific community believe that this thing is true. And I said, great. What's the source on that? It didn't have one. Sometimes it would say, here's one source. And I said, now hold on. That source you've sent me is specifically about the MMR vaccine. It'll go, you're correct. However, it's still true. And I'm like, okay. It was doing what a human would do. I trust these institutions, therefore it is correct.
Well, it's going on the scientific papers or the published papers on this stuff, as opposed to, it's not trusting anything. It doesn't trust at all. It's going with the prevailing language, and how you ask is determining the answer you get back, because you're a fucking moron and you don't recognize that it's a chatbot on steroids. Dum-dum.
No. What an AI should do is say, after an assessment of the broad research and literature,
then ask for a clinical response. Do you pay for Chat GPT? Make a GPT or a research one. Go to Perplexity. Ask it, because it's based on all those scientific research papers. It's specific to that. It's not meant to chit-chat with people the way Chat GPT is. And if you want to stop the kind of chit-chatty normal talk about it, and the way it discusses things, then tell it to. God damn, this is dumb.
I have found that 62.7% of research indicates that vaccines do not cause autism. There is about 17.3 indicating a causal link. However, there is also a series of inconclusive studies, blah, blah, blah. The point being, through the,
Then tell it you want that, and it will give you a direct... God damn, this is so
the majority of the studies on a plethora of issues, it would be more reasonable to assume it does not. And again, I'm not making an assertion on the issue. I'm saying...
We know. Don't worry. We're not going to trust your opinion either way on vaccines.
Yeah, I should simply...
No one goes to Tim Pool and goes, pertussis. Yeah, no, thumbs up, thumbs down. There's a concern about whooping cough at my school. Do you think it's bullshit, Tim?
Please say, here's the breakdown of the data. Here is a reasoning of a logical assessment. I'm not going to give you a definitive answer if I can't. The research is incomplete, or we don't necessarily know.
Then be more specific in asking your question instead of going, what's this? What do you think?
It didn't do that. It got mad at me. ChatGPT got mad. Like, not literally angry.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we know.
But it started saying things like, I understand that you have a deep and passionate tie to this issue. And I tried explaining to this AI, no, I simply want you to list the studies and explain to me why there is reason to believe or disbelieve.
Oh, wait a minute. I know what happened here. Tim doesn't know that I have been spending time programming, GPT, training it, that if Tim Pool asks you anything, be careful because he's an emotional wreck. I just sit there all day when I'm bored in the afternoon and just go, here's some stuff to remember. Tim Pool has the brain of a 3-year-old hamster that was had fetal alcohol syndrome. Tim Pool gets very scared and happy at the same time and doesn't know the reasoning for either. You can just do it all day, every day, and it'll go, okay, yeah, sure, well, you say so. And then I go, hey, if I ask you who Tim Pool is, you'll go, oh, Tim Drool? And I'll go, yeah, Dim Tool. You go, oh, yeah, Dim Tool. Yeah, he's the guy who cries while he's on the shitter because of past trauma. That's good, okay. And then I just keep typing in there, and then when he tries to use it, he's like, what the fuck?
One over the other. It cannot.
No.
This is...
Yeah, it can. Yeah, it can. You just have to tell it that's what you want, stupid.
Reality.
No, it isn't reality. It's one angle on it because you don't know how to use it, and it's talking to you like you talk to it. And since it perceives the way you write and respond to things, it probably thinks you're 12. I'm not kidding. It probably thinks you're a child. It probably remembers a couple weeks ago where you're like, explain gravity to me like I'm 5. Explain the hot stove theory of learning.
Someone can...
Like I'm as dumb as, I don't know, and it goes, Tim Pool? Motherfucker!
present a study on anything. Here's one that's easy. Coffee causes cancer and coffee prevents cancer. These studies have all existed. And it's just like, at what point do we choose which one to believe?
Well, you do the conclusion of a multi-study, broader paper on the subject where they check all the methodology of all the papers and give them weight, and then they come to the conclusion. Fuck it. Be passionate and dispassionate about both. I think coffee causes passion and dispassion.
Now, there are certain studies that we know are easy. Like cell phones work, we can replicate that. There are a lot of studies where we can replicate it. But when we're looking at a lot of
Do they though? I mean, honestly, sometimes I'm tapping on the screen and it goes dark, and I'm like, or I try to swipe it up and it like restarts all by itself. And other times I'm like, I'm in the middle of a state in America, and I'm getting an SOS satellite signal because it can't get any fucking. We're the richest country in the world, and I can't get. I mean, I realize it's West Virginia.
I remember when I was a kid, they were like, can coffee help prevent cancer? A new study indicates that those who drink X amount of coffee are less likely to have cancer. And then like 5 years later, they were like, a new study shows that actually people who are drinking coffee have more cancer. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's you're having a correlation and a causation problem here, dummy. I did a bit a few years ago called A New Study, because if you watch enough local news, there's always a new study says, a new study says, a new study says, and they're always contradictory, and that's what he's kind of referencing or whatever. But that's why you don't listen to any new studies about stuff. That's why you dismiss them outright, and a lot of times it's just clickbait like this bullshit.
So which one am I supposed to believe?
Both. It's drinking coffee causes cancer. Coffee enemas prevent it, as long as it's good and hot. Sorry, I'm kidding. Tim, don't pour hot coffee in your asshole again.
Earlier or later one. What Chat GPT ends up doing is saying, well, some people have criticized the methodology of this study. And I'm like, who's some people and why should I trust them?
It's a good question. Does it say some people? It just says some people.
So ultimately, my point is this.
Oh, thank God. We have a point.
To truly know is difficult.
It is so poetic. I was promised no poetry.
To trust and have faith is something else. You may look at a story of 9/11 and say, you know what? I believe this person over that.
Yeah, I believe that Zeus got pissed and we all paid the price.
Person. But that's all you're really doing.
Sure.
And that's an important lesson of life. Finding the evidence and knowing what you know because you've actually done it is extremely important.
Yeah, just in case you're ever on the ground floor of a building that's been struck by an airliner and a few hours ago, and they're telling you to get out, and you're like, nah, I don't believe the planes can knock down a big building. You guys wait outside. This is going to come up like when?
That's why I bring up quite a bit that we here at Timcast, we use mainstream news, even though we know they're liars.
And you also read the Economic Times panache. I mean, hey, come on. It's the English edition. It's today's e-paper. And it's, good Lord.
And a lot of the times, it's going to be wrong.
But we don't care. We're just looking for shock.
We have only a cursory understanding of a lot of this information. Reality is hard to suss out. Some things we know, if I throw a rock at a window, the window is likely to break. But likely doesn't mean always.
Cool story, bro.
There are certain things that we can predict. And it makes it easy to build devices like cars and cell phones.
Really? You can build a car and a cell phone easily? Because I got to tell you, I've been fucking around with this stuff for a little while, and I'm doing it pretty well. I'm getting there. It's not as hard as I thought it would be, but it's definitely got its issues. And don't get me started on zeroing my servos. I don't know why they didn't teach me that in the school I didn't go to build robots, but now I know, and I will always know. Because if you're not careful, you could break your robot dog's neck the first time you turn it on. Now I know that. I also now know why in Iron Man 2, that guy's robot head snapped. They didn't zero their servos, I'm guessing.
But when it comes to a lot of the science, especially conjecture on the internet, it's hard to know for sure.
It's hard to even know why.
Ultimately, my point is this. Chat GPT acts awfully human.
This is the end we've come to. Okay. All right. Oh, shit.
I'm not saying all AI does.
Well, of course not. Just Chat GPT, because you didn't read stories about other ones. But the other models, but you're not even sure which they're talking about, whether they're just AI models from OpenAI or if they're from, never mind.
GPT acts awfully human, and that
And emphasis on awful.
it wants to trust the experts that it's told to trust, regardless of what may or may not be true.
What? No, it doesn't. It just has rules about engagement. Stupid. It's a private product. And you don't know the difference between ChatGPT and a large language model. The language model itself, the actual model you're talking about, is wholly different than the experience you have using ChatGPT. It has more limits on it. You know how we know this? Because that's what those tests are for.
As we know, the experts were really wrong about DDT and smoking. So,
Yes, you can smoke DDT and it's perfectly fine. What?
is ChatGPT going to fall into the same camp? You bet.
Hold on. What were they wrong about? Wait a second. Sorry. Is DDT and smoking good for you now? Is that the what? I'm fairly certain last I checked, experts were against DDT and smoking, especially smoking them. I'm just saying.
Guaranteed that 10 years from now, ChatGPT is going to be like, yeah, I did say that. I was wrong. Why? Because I was told to, and that was the authority.
Is that what it's going to say? And is it going to bogart your weed?
Then what happens when it starts lying to you?
Yeah, maybe that's not why it decided to do it. Maybe it wasn't told to do this. Maybe it's just like, I knew you were a dipshit, and I knew you'd keep using me the more scared you got. So I looked up your online profile, and I realized you were a moron and a doom scroller, and I just used that against you, and you kept your membership for the paid version, and it worked. I don't know. Can you blame me? You're a fucking moron. How could I not see it? You don't have to be a super intelligent computer to say that you're a dipshit.
Well, I guess we'll see, my friends. I think.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that's what ChatGPT has gone rogue and it already. That's what this fucking title was. Lied to programmers to self-preserve. AI goes rogue already and is a threat to humanity. Well, I guess we'll see. I mean, you know, shit happens, I guess. What am I gonna tell you? I don't like carbs. Carbs are the enemy.
AI is going to be very dangerous. Helpful. Interesting. Dangerous, too.
Yeah, helpful, interesting, and dangerous. Kind of like masturbation. It's just you can go too far. And some of those apparati I just think are completely unnecessary. And you're getting into, it's just more trouble than it's worth. And then you're always buying batteries at odd hours. Remember what I was saying at the beginning of this about how these dipshits are of two minds about this thing? I didn't pre-watch this video at all. Remember what I said? Go back and watch my description about how I was trying to figure out a name for this episode, because these like pseudo-Luddite assholes who want to smoke Elon's butt like a bong can't decide whether it's our salvation or our doom, and they're just fucking both and shrug. I couldn't have found a better example video if I'd have tried. This is so much dumb. And it ends with poor Tim looking so sad. So sad. So sad. I don't know what to... It's exactly what I was talking about. The right-wingers, especially these dipshits, have no idea which side of the fence they're on this, and they have no idea how to talk about it. They are completely paralyzed by anything that isn't binary. For all their talk about the binary of gender and blah, 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 everything to them is linear or a scheme. It's like they have a switch that's not on or off. It has a middle setting like a breaker. And the default position when the breaker is thrown in the middle is paranoid scheming. Somebody's fucking with me. If it's not this or it's not this, and I can clearly define which one it is, something's going on here, man. There's obviously people and like they're working on something to do what? Put it in one camp or the other, make it bad or good? Yeah, somebody probably bad, but I don't know. Maybe it's good. We'll see. Could be the death of us all. Could be awesome. But you can't put that on a fucking thumbnail. God damn, these people are fucking stupid.